Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me on Sunday mornings or at your convenience. Well, here we are. I'm a little bit late because for some reason I'm not getting on right away. No idea, but it is what it is. So here we are. That's all that matters. A minute or two late doesn't really make that much of a difference. So I want to go over a few things before we get into our conversation today. And number one being, you're always welcome to join us for our Course in Miracles group on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it's a great group. It's on Zoom. All are welcome. We're right now into the Way of Mastery. And if you would like to learn more about that, just reach out, let me know, and I'd love to tell you more. Also, our book club is in full swing. We're really enjoying The Mystic Jesus, and it's been a fabulous journey so far through the book. And next time we start a new book, would love to have you join us. It's a great group, and all are welcome to participate as well. I do see a little flash up there that says that I'm muted. Never seen that before, so could somebody give me a thumbs up that you can hear me? That would be very helpful. Thank you. Also, prayer ministry is still here for everybody. If you have any prayer requests, feel free to submit those to my website, charlottemcginnis.com, or you can just put it on the Facebook page. I also have a Namaste Prayer Ministry Facebook page that I've just created, and we'll be getting some content out on those probably starting this afternoon. So feel free to check in and join that as well. For those of you that live locally here in the Carolinas and in Georgia, there's some pretty extreme brush fires happening that are a little difficult to contain at this moment, but hopefully before long we'll get those under control. But in the meantime, just send some peaceful, loving energy, envisioning those fires calming down and everyone to be safe. And of course, as always, prayers for peace in the world. Lots of things happening, and we're going to talk about how love always wins today. So I'm going to take a moment here and just see if I can figure this out. And I just don't know. Let's see if that works. Well, it looks as though I'm doing well. So I don't know what to say. Hopefully you can hear me. This thing's been acting up for a few weeks, but hey, what the heck, it's free, right? So can't go, don't kick the gift horse. Okie doke. So I want to start my talk today because I was inspired. You know, it's usually what inspires me to give a talk each week is something that's occurred either globally, politically, something in the world that's happening, something in my life that's happened, whatever. But whatever it may be, sometimes it leads me to build a whole talk around it, and this week is no exception. Well, Ellen and I have been banking at the same bank for many years here since we've been in Hendersonville. And it's a regional bank, gives great service. We're very happy with it. And good morning, Don. Good to see you. Anyway, Don, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please? Because I just don't know if this is getting relayed because I'm having a flash saying it's not. So anyway, we've been going to this bank for many years and have actually done most of our business through the drive-through and have become, you know, really fond of this one gal who works the drive-through, and she's been wonderful. Her name's Kim, and she's always got a smile on her face. Her service is impeccable, and she makes that, oh, thanks, Don, makes it a pleasure to do banking. And she's been, you know, just a ray of sunshine every time you go. Well, last Friday, a week ago, there was a little invitation on her window that a retirement party, which I was like, oh no, Ellen. Good morning, Donna. She's retiring, and Kim's retiring. We'll have to go to her little party. So we went to the little party. It wasn't so little, a lot of people there at the bank, to send her off and to tell her how much we appreciated her and gave her a little gift. And anyway, it was just a beautiful experience. But what it really prompted me to talk about today was this woman. As we were there, good morning, Laura. We were talking to some of the other people who were coming in to thank her and appreciate her, and people are bringing in cakes and goodies and plants, and everybody unanimously said, how much we're going to miss her, obviously, but how she was just always there. She drove quite a ways to get there each day, and she was just awesome at what she did. And the cool thing was to see all the people that she touched, and you could see that it was a very diverse group. And what I came to realize is this one woman working behind the glass panel at the bank has impacted so many people over the years in such a beautiful and profound way. And you know what? It was just a decision she made. She showed up with a smile on her face. She was professional. She did her job. She was kind. She was just a great person, is a great person. And the neat thing about that, as I started thinking, is, you know what? I don't have any idea who she voted for. I don't know where she goes to church. I don't know, much about her, except that she was fully present every time that we showed up at the bank. And that was pretty often over the years. So we need more Kims in the world. They say less Karens, more Kims, right? And she touched the lives of so many people. So in the Course in Miracles, and really in any spiritual teaching or any life skills, we can make a big impact in the lives of others if we just make up our minds to do so. And it's about being loving, being kind, showing up with a smile on your face. Good morning, Faith. And just really setting that intention to connect with people. And we've lost that. Everything's become so, technological, and, people have got their faces in their phones and on the computer, and a lot of banking is on the computer, or business is on the computer. So we don't have that face-to-face. Now, I will say that even though we're separated by, our bodies aren't connected in form, this opportunity with Facebook and Zoom opportunities throughout the week are a great way to connect. And I do feel a soul connection with everybody at these offerings that I have, and when I participate in those of others. So, but how can we be more like Kim? Well, we're going to talk about that. But before we get there, there's another experience I had. I'm very curious, and I notice a lot of things when I go places. I observe people. I just sort of take things in and try not to judge and just bless everything. And I go for a massage weekly, and have a great guy I go to. It's at a local massage establishment, and it's called YAM, Yoga and Massage. And anyway, I was noticing as I was waiting for Mike to come out, I was like, wow, these plants. And I was taking pictures of them, and I was like, what are these things? I thought they were fake. They were so beautiful, and they were almost glistening. And so the gal there said, you can't imagine how many people take pictures of these plants. And so I was like, yeah, I get it. And so we were talking a little more, and she said one of the gals who works there just loves plants, and she brings them in. And again, something like that. Good morning, Pat. Something that seems so simple to impact so many people, and how many pictures have been taken, and how many people's spirits have been lifted because this one gal took it upon herself to offer this blessing to her work establishment. So I just know that we're in a tough time right now. Been in a tough time for quite a few years, actually. But and my goal is to offer ideas and thoughts about how to overcome the challenges in life, to be more peaceful, to be more loving, to be more godlike, to just be better humans, right? And so how can we do that? Well, I find that it's not so easy when we're in the midst of the battlefield. You know, we have a choice. We can throw ourselves in the battle, be upset about the battle, fight the battle, or we can just remove ourselves, observe, and be inspired by love, be more loving, because love always wins. And what does that look like? And what can I sprinkle into this big battlefield of duality, anger, separation, and fear that's going to bring more light and love to it? Well, one thing is, politically, people are very strong in their opinions, and that's fine and wonderful, and everyone, that's a beautiful thing, right? We're free we have that freedom. And so to be able to express ourselves is a beautiful thing. But what I think we could do a little better job with is to express ourselves through love rather than fear. We can respect each other. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to be right, okay? Just because you may think differently than I do, or vice versa, doesn't mean that you're wrong or bad. Just a difference of opinion, tomato, tomato, right? It's a moment-by-moment decision to be more kind and respectful and loving and compassionate towards each other. And good morning, little Janie. Little Janie, that you're not so little anymore. I've known Janie since she was a teenager. So anyway, hope you're healing well, Jane. So anyway, yes, respect each other is huge, and agree to disagree. And so I was watching a podcast on the treadmill yesterday, and I don't even remember this fellow's name. He was a Vedic astrologer, and he was really good. This guy came from corporate America. He's an engineer, and then he got into astrology. I won't bore you with all the details, but he got into Vedic astrology. And anyway, really intelligent guy, and had put a lot of effort into yoga and astrology and really understanding the science and the power of, he mentioned Yogananda, for example, whose head's cut off behind me here, but one of my great inspirations. But how the science, yoga is actually a science, and it's very powerful. Yes, it's wonderful for exercise and breathing and stretching and the physical aspects of it, but there's also a spiritual aspect of yoga, and it's a scientific science and spirituality. It can be very powerful, even more powerful than we may understand. And Yogananda's book, the Autobiography of a Yogi, does talk a lot about how powerful yoga is, and what this science is, and what Yogananda came here to teach and to demonstrate, and what Jesus came here to teach and demonstrate, and other great masters who walked the planet came to teach and demonstrate, was that we don't have to be in the battleground. We can be in the world, but not of the world. We don't have to be in defense and attack. As he said, and I love this, and I never heard it said exactly this way. I talk about it very similarly, but I kind of like the way he phrased this. And he says, wherever we're reacting, wherever we're angry, that's where our soul needs healing. And basically, he said, you better be ready, because astrologically, we're in for quite a ride. And he said, it's going to be challenging, because any of us who are attached to the identity and the safety that we think this illusion or this world offers us, we're going to be kicked in the teeth a lot. But the good news is we don't have to be, because all of these things are coming up for us to the Great Awakening. I really feel that. I know that it seems chaotic, and we're angry and we're upset and we're afraid. But to be honest, I'm pretty peaceful, and I'm watching this like a movie and like, because one thing I've learned is that once I allow that trigger of reaction and anger and fear to get a hold of me, that I am feeding what I don't want. So I want to be like Buddha. I want to be like Yogananda. I want to be like Jesus. And they all told us They've given us the recipe of how to be at peace in the world. But we just get hooked. We get sucked into the drama time after time after time. Well, you know what? We don't have to. It's a choice. But our soul is definitely reflecting back to us where we need healing and mastery, okay? And it's possible within all of us. And so whether you accept it or not, we do have the potential to overcome the world. And to just watch this like it is a movie, get out the popcorn, send love, send blessing, don't react. Because watching this, we'll say, political situation unfold, which has been happening, like Whoopi says, get your popcorn and watch. There you go. That's about all we could do, right? And I would add to that, Pat, watch and bless, and not react. Because when we react, that's when we give our power away. We weaken ourselves when we react to life situations. So what can we do? How can we take responsibility for how we show up in every moment of the world? Well, we got to build ourselves up. We got to really look at where we're still triggered. You can say that we're justified in every reason that we're angry and afraid. Well, yes and no. Yes, in the ego self, in the wounded soul self, yeah, we're scared, we're afraid. But in our evolution, highly evolved self, we're just watching the movie without reacting and blessing it. And we have a choice, and we can build up, and we can become stronger, and we can react less and less to where we begin to see that everything is in perfect order and as it should be. And all of these situations that are so huge that are happening right now are happening for us all to awaken. And the neat thing, the other thing that this fellow said, he says, one thing that is happening is as these systems break down and all these situations continue to happen, more people are going to realize that there is nowhere to look but up, meaning look to the Lord or look to our higher self, look to God for sustenance and support and peace, because we're not going to find it in this world. Well, I would say that we have a choice, and I'm inviting you at this moment to make choices for love, for God, because love always wins. Well, there's so many people speaking on this right now. And good morning, Jerry. Happy Sunday. I'm glad to see your son's doing better. It really made my heart sing when I saw that. He looked so sweet and happy. Yay. So anyway, as you know, I love Greg Braden. I think he's an awesome teacher. He walks his talk. Terrific guy. And smart, and really just comes from the heart. And he's done the research. And so I do respect a lot of what he says, most of what he says. And his theory is similar to what we're talking about here each week, is we've got to become our best selves. We've got to work on our spirit, work on our physical bodies, work on our mental body, work on our relationships, work on healing and blessing, and show up every moment as our best self. Because if we're depleted in any way, it's that negativity can come in and hook its little horns into us, where we're vulnerable. So be our best selves. And, recognize too, I do feel like that the media is not putting out, mainstream media is not putting out the whole picture of what's happening in the world. And if you're glued to one side or the other, this is not about taking sides, but I watch them all. And I can tell you what, it's like the narrative from this side to this side. It's like, wow, really? If I watch this one all the time, you would have me hooked to believe this. And if I watch this every time, you would have me convinced that that's the way. So I invite you to maybe expand your reach and go into deeper conversations and be willing to let go of any preconceived ideas about what you have, because there is a lot that we're not that lies beneath what seems to be going on. And so it's an opportunity for us all to just take it all in and assimilate it through our hearts, allow the Holy Spirit to reinterpret everything that we're experiencing right now in the world and in our personal lives. I mean, really, our personal lives, we talk about this a lot, is a micro or the macro, right? Individual versus the collective. And so the more I get my stuff together and live my best life, as I was saying about Greg Braden, guess what? Then I'm not so impacted. I don't need to manipulate the deck chairs on the Titanic, right? So my soul is eternal, it's perfect, and as we heal through forgiveness and blessing and love, I just can be in the world and watch the movie, right? Well, characteristics of God's teachers. Yes, God loved us so much, he gave us the world. Donna, thank you. Yes, and we are so loved, but we don't accept it. We don't let it in enough. And we need to understand how loved we are and how much God is really here for us. But obstacles to God are judgment, anger, defense. And it doesn't mean we can't have opinions, but open your heart to understand that we're all on this journey together. And everybody's doing what they're doing in this journey. And I can't make you do anything different. And really, there's a lot of things I can do to bring more light into the world. Do more of that. And bless those that I have judged. Because ultimately, as this fellow said yesterday, the astrologer, he said, you know, Jesus and Buddha and Yogananda would be walking in the world, and they'd just be sort of watching what's happening now, and their peace would be just steady as could be. And the good news is we all can be there as well. So characteristics of God's teachers is a section from A Course in Miracles. Good morning, Mark. Happy Sunday to you. Nice to see you here today. And in the Course in Miracles, there's a manual for teachers. And what that is basically within the Course in Miracles, there's 3 books. There's the teachings, the text, the workbook, which is the lessons, and then the manual for teachers is addressing specific life issues, things that we can use to enhance our spiritual evolution. But before we go there, I thought this was fascinating. I don't know where I heard this, but I thought this was cool too. And I'm going to go deeper into this. But remember when, not today though, but remember when we used to hear it, oh, Einstein's got a high IQ, and everybody was like, oh, so-and-so, and not excluding Einstein from this. A lot of people have high IQs, but they don't necessarily function well in the world. And not a judgment, it's just so that intelligence, that intellect, sometimes doesn't get you all you are hoping for. And so, yes, a high IQ is a good thing. I'm not saying that. But as we evolved, they started talking maybe 20, 30 years ago, and I use this a lot in golf, emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is when we're able to maintain a space of peace and comfort and manage our emotions, emotional intelligence. I'm not an emotional wreck. I'm not out there screaming and rioting and picketing and blah, blah, blah. EQ, yes, Donna, emotional quotient is what they call it, EQ. Well, guess what we've evolved into next, Donna, or anybody, you know? I heard this, I love this. Makes perfect sense, and I'd never heard it before. I'll give you a few seconds before I say what it is. Okay, nobody's biting. So what it is spiritual intelligence, spiritual quotient, right? So yes, we've gone from IQ to EQ to SQ, right? And I love that because that is ultimately the highest intelligence that there is our connection to source, to spirit, the divine mind. And in that divine mind, it allows for healing where we think it's impossible, peace where we think that only war can exist. And that's where we're all heading. And the more spiritually attuned we are, that is the greatest blessing we can give to ourselves and to the world. So we're going to talk more about that another time. I got to do a little poking around and learn more about that. But I love that. I was like, yeah, makes perfect sense. IQ, emotional, intellect, emotional, and now spiritual. So characteristics of God's teachers. You want to be a God's teacher? Who are the teachers of God? Yes, emotional variability. Yeah, Donna, you're right. And by the way, I'll give Donna a plug. She's a fantastic healer and craniosacral therapist, and among other things, awesome lady. So anyway, she and I have been on this path a long time. I've known her a long time. So anyway, so the Course in Miracles says, who are among the teachers of God? And the answer simply says, anybody who chooses to be one. You want to be a teacher of God, or you want to stay in the crap? It's that simple. So what if you want to be a teacher of God, which I think if you're here, you're wanting to live a more holy, peaceful, loving life, then what do you got to do? Well, there's some characteristics here. I'm going to go through, not rush them, but I could spend all day on this, but I'm going to get you home for dinner. Just saying. But anyway, number one, trust. There's a line in the Course in Miracles, and of course each of these characteristics has pages to it, but I'm going to give the very brief Reader's Digest. Trust. Well, there's a line in the Course in Miracles, very simple. Trust would settle every problem now. There's trust. Trust in what? Trust in the will of God. Thy will, not my will, be done. Trust that everything is working as it should be working. And trust the process. That's number one. Honesty. Honesty's huge. Being willing to be open-hearted and honest and to just put ourselves out there and just be willing to express ourselves with each other in a heartfelt, honest way with respect and reverence for each other, and have the courage to be honest. Huge. Tolerance. Tolerance is a big one, because it's easy to tolerate, too blessed to be depressed. Donna, you're on a roll today. Anyway, so tolerance, it's real easy to tolerate those who think like us and look like us and have the same interest as us and all of that. But what about those who are weird and dress funny and do strange things, Well, guess what? We're here to love as God loves. Back to Jesus, Buddha, and Yogananda, they just blessed and loved everybody. They tolerated, it didn't matter what someone wore or any of that, or what they did for a living, or they just came to bless the world. So tolerance is huge, just because you're different than I am doesn't mean that you're bad or wrong. This is another big one, gentleness. Gentleness is huge. I think that we're very strong people. In my defenselessness, which is the next one, the Course says, my safety lies. It's not about being armed up for battle and defense and attack, but being gentle, being kind, being defenseless. I tell a story, and this is a perfect example of this. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. And that is, many years ago, I had a cat. Still have another one, but her name was Maggie, and she was a little thing, a little Himalayan, and I had a big dog, Crystal, who could be vicious, as my niece used to say. And Crystal and Maggie would sometimes get into these fights like a cartoon where it would happen so fast, fur would be flying and screaming, and I thought the cat was going to be dead. Anyway, what I began to notice is Maggie, it was always about food, by the way, when Crystal would be stalking Maggie and ready to attack, Maggie would just roll over. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. When she rolled over, all of a sudden it wasn't that interesting for Crystal to engage. The Course in Miracles says it only takes one to heal a relationship, usually the saner of the two. Okay, so we say we want peace in the world. be sane. Be the saner of the two. What's that mean? Be peaceful, be defenseless. That's where our power lies. This is another great source of power. Joy, happiness. I think that when we're truly aligned with the Spirit of God and living from that place of love, we're happy. Of course we're happy because we're not worried about crap anymore, right? So there's nothing to worry about because who I am is changeless, formless, and eternal, and my soul will go on for eternity. And I am, as you said, Donna, I'm blessed beyond measure, too blessed to be stressed, and what's not to be happy about? That's why I think the Buddha, the laughing Buddha, was always a very powerful metaphor for living in a divine space and knowing. Generosity. When I say generosity, it's, of course, we immediately think money. Well, it's not bad to share your money, but also generosity of spirit, of time, of kindness, of resources. You know, we all have something to give. Just like I was talking earlier about Kim at the bank, her generosity of kindness was touched the lives of so many people. I mean, people were teared up and hugging her, and it was really remarkable to see. So yes, generosity, we all could be more generous. And remember that giving and receiving are one in truth, because in reality, we're all here to walk each other home. So the ego says, if I'm generous, if I give this away, then there's going to be less for me. Well, not true. If you can just give freely, it just comes back freely. The more you give, the more you receive. And that is, I think it was Oprah who said this years ago, if you think you're lacking something in your life, be it money, be it love, be it whatever it is, give it away. And so give more love, give more money, and watch how fast it comes back to you. It's pretty amazing. So because it is, giving and receiving are one in truth. What we put out comes back. If you're angry, putting that out there, and you're cursing the world and cursing this one and bleh, guess what? You're going to get more angry, and you're not going to get this joy and happiness, but you're going to be just happy because you're just, yay, give it all away. Now, what's practical? How do we do that? My prayer is, Holy Spirit, everything I am and that I have, I offer to you. Show me how to direct my blessings in the best way for you, to serve your purposes. And so randomly, it could be a donation or helping someone with this or that. It varies, but I trust that Spirit will inspire me to do that which serves the greater good for all of us. Patience is a virtue. Just be patient. We're going through a process. Get yourself peaceful. Trust the process, be patient, because all is divinely well. And put your focus on healing yourself, healing your soul. Faithfulness is huge. Be faithful in every moment, which I think goes along with all of this. If we were faithful and tuned into the Holy Spirit, the still small voice of truth that dwells within each and every one of us, the whole game changes. We can just observe and not get sucked into the drama. And the last characteristic is open-mindedness. And yes, being open-minded. Don't be so clingy with your ideas and ideals. I'm always amazed at, people who just, they'll carry the same ideas from 10, 20 years ago and cling to those. And I'm like, wow, I would hope that we would be willing to evolve and be more open-minded to whatever. Because a lot of, I think about, has changed, and I'll talk about that another time, but even spiritually, I have shifted greatly on a lot of thoughts about things. And because I'm open, and what I'm open. Show me, God, just let go. I surrender. I want your will, not my will. And then when you open that up, boy, be ready, because yes, all the junk has to come up, but guess what? We have someone holding our hand through the process, and that is a good thing. So, love wins. That is the title of today. Started out with Kim, the plant girl at the yoga place, and we all have that potential. It's time we really, if you want to bless the world, let go of your anger, let go of your control and judgment and thinking you know what's right. None of us really do. Only God knows. Trust that process. Surrender. And Gary Zukov, I'll close with this quote from him. And he says, eventually you will come to understand that love heals everything, and that is all there is. So, that's the truth. Love heals everything. So come from that. Yeah, I love the cat analogy. So anyway, hope you all have a wonderful, blessed, happy Sunday, whatever you're doing. And if you feel moved to pass this along to your friends, I always appreciate it. And see you. Don't forget, I have the prayer ministry. I'm going to be putting some things out in very little bit here on Facebook, and also updating my website, so on and so forth. So have a great week, everybody. Stay blessed, be happy, and Faith, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Pass it along to your friends if you feel moved to do so, and namaste.